When I heard about the concept of mind retirement, I was very intrigued. I wanted to know more. And after having conversations with Puseletso, I found it a very futuristic concept. To some, it may be ahead of its times, but to those of us that have a strong sense of self and are masters of self, it comes at a very perfect time. It's very futuristic, this concept. I believe that it is important to unpack the concept of mind retirement by understanding it as peace of mind, peace of spirit, and peace of self. It's so important in the days that we're living in today to exist in a strong sense of peace of mind.
For me, mind retirement is about self-reflection. I was encouraged to be true to myself. I'm gonna read the book, and already I know what's expected of me is to read the book with understanding and reflect, self-reflect, be true to myself and implement whatever I'm gonna take out of the book.
Put your hands together for Dineo Ranaka.
I want to speak briefly as an introduction of the lady that we're all here to celebrate. She is a currency of such great value. I don't think 3 years ago I would have been ready to meet Puseletso, because as a currency I would have misused her. There are certain people whose value is beyond rand value. Puseletso, you are empowered from a place of godliness. That gifting is incredible. You are a sister. You are very harmless in your spirit. You're a wave in your existence. There's no way you can come into a person's life and not engulf them. I am engulfed in your energy. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Puseletso.
Behind me is infinite power. Before me is endless possibilities. My mind has retired. I have officially met myself. I am free from mental slavery. I am liberated, enlightened, and I own my mind. I have untapped potential to be unleashed. Fear, anger, guilt, hate, grief, you don't own me. I have power over you.
Don't give it a break, so make it. Don't let your heart be shaken. Don't go too far, come back to life and change your mind.
Most people don't go deep. Most people just see things at face value, and they won't ask the bigger question. They'll just see mind retirement and they'll be on some, and not for me, not today, Satan. But there's value in the words mind retirement. Just from your side of the fence, what inspired the title of the book, Mind Retirement?
The book, when it came about, I've realized that I've had it in me for such a long time, because I've been realizing that the power that I can have is when I have conquered the fight within myself. The retirement of the mind is not only in getting financial freedom, but it is in the ability to quiet the noise within you.
Now, the noise within us is easier said than done. How do we practically begin to quieten the noise inside?
I always say trouble and opportunities are running parallel. Yes. But often we focus on the negative or on the challenge or on the lack instead of looking at the other side of it, because all the time lies that opportunity. I always say we are always given the power to choose. So the question is, when we are in that midst of that, what do we choose? Do we focus on what is not working, or do we look at what we want and we start receiving it in our spirit and we focus and fix our eyes into the solution that we are hoping for? Because if we can always look into the other side, and even if you can't find it, believe in me, it's still there. It's just that you have not exercised your mind to show you another opportunity. When my mom passed away a few years ago, I remember when the casket was going down, I asked God, let me not die with my mom. Because many of us, when our loved ones pass away, we die with them.
This is true.
Spiritually.
This is true.
But instead, I said, I'm going to rise up and stand up. And that's why what we see today, it's always encouraged by that thing of saying, I am refusing to die with the dead because I'm alive. I am refusing for the situation to determine who I am because I know who my God is. And I'm really much refusing to be defeated because I know there's then an opportunity for me to stand up and be who I want to be or do what I want to do. It's just that retrenchment, that divorce, that it's just helping you step up because it's another way of God saying, there's another opportunity for you, my child.
That is such a powerful thing. I'm going to bring that concept and marry it into romance. Many of us, when our personal relationships fail romantically, we then begin to die in other areas of our lives. So when the grass is burning around me, right? To prevent myself from burning, and if I do successfully do so, what are the benefits of that? Because I think that's a layer of mind retirement, right?
When the grass is burning around you, there comes a time when you let it burn. It doesn't mean that every time you have to have the answers. That's where God said, surrender to me. What I'm asking you to do is to, in the midst of that challenge, always focus at the end on how the end will look like when you achieve it. And don't let go of that. And how you do that is firstly visualize it. If I want to see myself out of debt, how will that look like? If I want to see myself out of a troubled marriage, how will that look like? If I want to see myself in this career path, how will that look like? But importantly, how will that feel like? Because we can see it, but do you feel it? Do you experience it? Do you do it every day? Do you live it every day? Till you realize it.
The elements of faith that you're speaking of are deep. Now I believe that the eye was never trusted with carrying faith because the eye is short-sighted, and we were talking about this yesterday. God is wise. So many of us, we trust our eyes more than we trust what is great within us, more than we trust the vision. How can we then let things burn by protecting and preserving the little bit that we have left?
Start realizing the grass that is growing after that burn. How you do that is start realizing why you have to do what you have to do. And firstly, it starts with knowing who you are, your beliefs, your value. Because there's no point of you going with the wind because everybody's doing it, you have to do it. Everybody's doing it, is saying it, you have to say it. You first have to know you. Know you. And once you know you, and the moment you even step into that knowing and the calling that you know God has been placed here on earth for you to do, He provides the resources. So sometimes the question of saying how is a question that most of us might not answer because the how is known to God and the how is actually you new believing that it's going to happen. We manifest the how, but we need to recharge and channel our mind and energy into believing that it's going to happen.
Mind retirement, you're holding on to the book. May I have it, please? Which page speaks most to you?
Everything.
Find one. You're going to make my life very difficult. Or can I just open randomly?
You can open randomly.
Self-limiting beliefs. I have learned that the prison is in my mind. Some of these beliefs are passed over from generation to generation. How we are raised, our environment, teachings, and how much you believe about what people say about you. One of the biggest self-limiting beliefs I entertained for a long time was, I wonder how many of you can relate with this, I am not good enough. The fear that you are not good enough is a routine that affects most people, though it shows up differently for each person. Now, for some people, the words not good enough imply having to go into workaholic, overachiever mode like you did. In the book it says like I did. For others, it shows up as comparisons. For others, it shows up as procrastination. There was a lady in the room who mentioned mind retirement for procrastination, as well as avoidance and not finishing what you start. I always wanted to prove a point, even when it was not necessary. The worst part was when I became very critical and hard on myself. I failed to celebrate some achievements and milestones because I still thought there was more to be done. When everyone told me how good I was, there would be that negative thought that would cancel the compliment. I realized that being a workaholic resulted in being fatigued, burnt out and stressed because I did not listen to my body when I was tired. The sad part is that I put the same pressure on the people I worked with because I wanted them to perform at the level of excellence as me. I have lost employees. I can relate. Business partners, but those ones needed to burn. Those were the grass that needed to burn.
We'll address that one.
We'll address that one. And I've lost teams due to this need to do more, be more, and become an overachiever. And because I became too critical on myself, I found it hard to even notice efforts. The efforts they made to deliver on the task at hand. I was too quick to see what did not work versus what worked. I have learned to celebrate me and my team for all the milestones we have achieved. Lesson learned. I am not my past. I am not my past actions. I am not how others have treated me in the past. I am only who I think I am in this moment. I am only what I do right now in this moment. It is time to step away from my twigs and conquer my negative thoughts. I have learned to affirm myself and see the good in me. I have learned to stop working when I am tired and start appreciating the beauty around me. I have learned to laugh at my shortcomings and surround myself with those who know better. I have learned that I am enough and I hold the keys to my destiny. Quote, we learn our belief systems as very little children, and then we move through life creating experiences to match our beliefs. Look back in your own life and notice how often you have gone through the same experience. Close quote, Louise L. Hay. Self-limiting belief systems. Let's reflect on those. Talk us through yours, as we have read, but break them down.
It comes in so many shapes and faces.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but isn't it that most negative practices in us human beings are birthed from self-limiting belief systems?
Exactly. We sugarcoat. You can look good and walk tall, but inside speaks. And only me knows that. Many things are stopping us from stepping into the greatest, better self and to become the better versions of ourselves. When we honored the women today, we say we see you. It's because they have stepped out of their comfort and they started doing something. It's not because they are better than any one of you. It's because they are not allowing self-limiting beliefs to hold them back.
Is there a self-limiting belief in us blocking and being a part in the blockage of love being shared upon us and showered on us because we don't love ourselves first?
Yes. It starts with us, and it even becomes easier for us to show it, to show others how to love us, because we know how to love ourselves. Every time when a negative thing comes to me, I start asking myself, what did I do to attract you? And I don't talk to a person, I talk to a thing that I'm seeing is coming. This person being used to bring that thing to me. Because often we fight the people.
But
we don't
we're
fight
actually
the
in
thing.
war with the spirit.
You understand?
Yes.
We need to see beyond, because you can be my friend, the most person that I love, but you could be the one who hurt me the most. And often we fight this person. We don't fight that thing. We need to start fighting that thing, not the person. And when you fight that thing, you elevate your friend to know and I'll love you better.
Let's talk acceptance, Pusela. It's very difficult for most of us to accept our current state of affairs. Why do we struggle with accepting our emotional means, our spiritual capacity, and interact with people in that space prior to God saying, you're ready?
Many of us don't spend enough time with ourselves. In silence lies opportunities and lies the inner voice that speaks to us all the time. When you spend time with yourself, you start meeting yourself. You will start understanding things that are for you and that are not for you. You will start seeing people who are for you and who are not for you. We are always operating from the point of consciousness. We hardly tap into our subconsciousness. And that's where the power and the engine of everything our being also lie. And you'll find that most of the things that are hurting us, they're not even for us, are the wars that we should have let go long time ago.
We address issues on the macro. So we see a problem as a mountain, when we should actually minimize the problem, make it micro, and then address the issue. How do we make that make sense?
It starts with you, how you position yourself so that you can attract what is yours.
The best investment for her took time to write. The best investment for you will take time to read. The best investment post-reading for you will take time to not read to finish, but read to understand. Once you understand, the next best investment is to take time to reflect. Then you take time to ask yourself questions. The highest qualification any human being can have before becoming a lawyer, an engineer, a psychologist, a doctorate of sorts, is a master of self. I really believe that this is a powerful thing. Mind retirement is the next level of retirement. Invest in your mind retiring. We are so stressed investing time and money in retiring so we can be financially well off. But when you get to that level of retiring financially, you are emotionally, mentally, spiritually unable to enjoy the finances of that retirement. Today you're 40.
Today I'm 40.
What's the beginning of your journey at 40, post-mind retirement? Because all of us know that you have now officially retired.
Post-mind retirement is imparting knowledge and wisdom so that I can help women and men who are put before me. These are not people I'm going to market myself to. These are women, the people who are going to look for me to help them.
Yes.
I've learned that the hard way, that when I impose myself thinking that I'm helping people, actually I'm not helping them. They're not yet ready for me. Everybody comes into my space when they're ready. That's where I'm going.
That is incredible. Handing the mic over. Anyone with questions for Puseletso?
How does a person, what is it that you can say to a person to come out of it? Because sometimes, like you said, we stay in our own pain. But a lot of people, they do not know how to come out of the pain. What is it that a person can do to come out of it?
How you can get over pain, sometimes you have to face it. You have to go through that very painful experience again to a point that you don't experience it anymore. You need to be intentional. You need to be present. Those two key things. Often we are not present and we are not intentional. Things that are in our minds are other people's thoughts. It's not our own thoughts. You can even sometimes believe that you can hear somebody's voice because they are so much in your head. You have entertained their voice and you have believed everything that they've said. You have not even applied yourself to say, out of everything else that has been said here today, what do I say? Where is my voice in it? So this is not going to be an easy thing. And I'm not saying it's going to be achieved when you turn 40. For those who are still to turn 40, it can be achieved even at an early age. It's just that you need to be intentional and you need to be present in your own life.
And she mentioned something about the people that you have in your life. What if those people are the only people you know? You can only learn so much of one thing until it teaches you that lesson. Cycles. There was a part about cycles here. We get trapped in the same cycles because we are too stubborn. We don't want to unlearn.
As much as we believe people are not good for us, I always ask, are you good for them?
Yay, that's powerful. That's powerful. Reflecting on whether or not you are good for certain people. Realize the toxicity in you before pointing out the toxicity in other people.
You might find that they actually were there for a reason and you still haven't realized it because you are not yet ready for them.
Yes.
So, and later, you, of man of 5 years, that, oh, that relationship, we starting all over again. Now you realize in the value, it was
Yes.
always there, it's just that you didn't see it.
Men are never actually developed to be able to appreciate a woman, to be able to understand how to treat a woman, to be able to get to a point where they say, how do I get to protect a woman? How do you get to a point where we develop men to understand and appreciate that and actually nurture their people?
The problem we see, I don't think we should always put it all in men to say the problem and the crisis that is happening in our country is because of men. Women as well, we play a big role in that. The society that we're living in, only us can be the change of it. And it starts by us changing ourselves. So men, actually, we should be able to mold and groom as we have done as the children, but in a sense that we do it in God's way of ability to help a man to step up to become a man that they are meant to be.
What is your source of inspiration? What? Because I know that at some point you were somewhere. But what was the turning point for you? What was the tipping point for you?
I have been out there doing it, working so much that sometimes I even forgot about myself. But there came a time when I realized that what I used to be passionate about was no longer relevant. What I was passionate about as business was no longer the passion that I want to pursue. What I loved so much in me, sometimes I started criticizing it because at that time I was just going down spiral. And I believed at that moment when you are now, you have done everything you can to rescue yourself out of it, the only thing you could do is to turn your head up and say, God,
Yes.
I surrender to you.
Yes.
And that was the turning point for me. And I had to first go in and say, if the problem is not outside here. It's not because I'm not getting deals. It's not because I'm not attracting right people or clients. It's not because I'm not surrounded by greatness. It's because I'm not yet positioned. And I needed to go in and I met myself, and that was my turning point.
I'm inspired. I look forward to the kind of wife I'm going to be to my king. I look forward to the kind of mother I'm going to be to my children. I look forward to the kind of leader I'm going to be in business. And it's because of women like you that women like myself can start revalidating themselves. You know, sometimes we seek validation from very unhealthy sources. For me, the words I take away are reflect, self-honesty, choose God, move forward, grow. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for this book. Ladies and gentlemen, Puseletso. Memodi Mukhal.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I took a lot from the interview itself that Puseletso was doing, and there's a lot of parts that she touched that I identify with, you know, especially in terms of when you go through a challenge in life and when you open your eyes, you realize that you want everybody to be there to entertain you with the pain that you are carrying, and actually no one is available at that point in time. And one doesn't realize that actually is the plan that all these people that you felt that you must rely on, they are not supposed to be there, so that you can realize that you have the strength within to even go through that pain.
I personally invited almost every one of you in the room. I could have opened it to the public, and in the room here could have been people that I have never met. But in this room today are people who I have done something and I have met and I have personal contact with them. And I wanted you to experience this moment with me. And I wanted you, as we do this today, because I love you and I know that when you leave today, we are going to see the greatness because you are going to allow and give yourself permission to be who you are meant to be. I want to say, I'm behind you, and like I'm blowing behind you to say, go for it. What is it that you want to do? Go for it. What is it that you want to become? Go for it. What is it that you see yourself and everybody else around become? Go for it. Because there's nothing as liberating as a person who have retired mentally And thank you. I really want to honor my family, the Modimokhale family, for actually still accepting me as I am. They didn't try to change me. They knew we got her, and I also presented myself, the true me, who I am. I want to honor also my father, which is my Oscar Modimokhale, who also, when I came into his family, I know he loved me so much and he still loves me. And you're not trying to make me to be the person that I'm not. In fact, you're allowing me to shine the light that I am in the family. Thank you for choosing me, Papa. And we always say, it's not because we have a healthy relationship. We have relationship like anybody, but what we have chosen is we chose each other. So even when he sees the flaws in me, he still chooses me. When I see the flaws in him, I still choose him. And that's what we have decided going forward, that even when life throws us out, and we can see that now we don't know what to do, we'll always choose each other. So for that, thank you very much for always choosing me. There is a new team that I've just discovered, and this is whom I'm moving forward into. We are working together as a team right now. We have produced CDs that all of you, when you buy a book, you will get that CD. I want that team to come forward, and this is the Mind Retirement Team. I call them the Mind Retirement Team. They say, when you turn 40, associate with the young. My dad is here, guys. Dad, thank you so much. Words fail me when I have to address him. He's amazing.
The event was great. The event went really, really great. So I think everybody's walked away with a new sense of self, understanding different things about themselves. I think a lot of people are getting closer to meeting themselves. I think that's what was the benefit. I think it's a shared sentiment of everyone. We're about to release these balloons. So officially concluding the event, saying that I retire from all the things that I hold on to that stop me from becoming my best self.